Hello today, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Amsoft Catalog. Basically this is a software and hardware catalogue that you can buy for your Amstrad CPC 464. This came free with my Amstrad CPC 464 back in 1985. So you would have got this catalogue with your CPC 464 bundle between winter 84 and probably summer of 85. So basically what this shows is a collection of Amsoft titles that was around that period. You can buy, obviously the same with hardware or up and coming stuff. So this was exactly the same catalogue that came with my Amstrad CPC 464. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at it, look inside it, and so we'll open it up. Obviously this ain't a real catalogue, I don't own it anymore. So welcome to Amsoft. I'm not going to read it all through, you can see it for yourself. Upgrades, CPM software, didn't have no CPM like stuff and all that, didn't have a disk drive. But let's have a look on this page, because this JY1 joystick I did have, and it was absolutely rubbish. The first ever joystick I owned for my Amstrad CPC 464. It was a horrible joystick, probably the worst joystick I've ever used. It's really uncomfortable. It only had one fire button at the top. Sometimes I like using the base fire buttons. As you can see, the Amstrad CPC 464 itself only supported one joystick port, but you can daisy chain them. Amstrad way was to daisy chain via another joystick. Don't know what the logic of that was, but that's Amstrad for you. Yes, I had this. Absolutely crap. And the same with this MP1 modulator. I owned one of these in the late, I think it was the very early 90s, the 1990s, very early 90s, where I had my colour monitor. I had two colour monitors, and eventually they both blew up. So I thought, well, instead of getting a third monitor, which were pretty expensive, try a modulator, because I did have a portable TV in my room at the time. We're talking about early 1990s here. I was still at school. So I think my mother decided to buy me, or I decided to tell her, obviously she bought it back in the day because I weren't earning no money, to buy the modulator. Yes, even that was absolutely rubbish. Go for your TV aerial connection. It just didn't work. The picture was fuzzy. When it got to more other high resolution, like in mode 1, it just looked horrendous. You needed a monitor with the Amstrad CPC. You did need a monitor. These just didn't work. Or if you're lucky enough to have RGB at that time, RGB TV or something like that. But was there any leads? I don't know. Back in them days, I do not know. But yeah, stay clear of the MP1. It was horrendous, and it made a hell of a noise and all. As far as I remember, when I remembered it, it was a horrible experience using your Amstrad CPC, and that what led me to get the Commodore 64, because I couldn't take it anymore. Oh, wrong way, sorry. Right. Oh, you can buy CT15 cassettes. I wonder what they're for. Oh yeah, programming. That's what they're for. Programming. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to have a floppy disk drive, or in this case a compact floppy disks, the CF2s, which I didn't have. You could always buy a DMP1 dot matrix printer. Didn't have one of those. Low cost, use plain paper, 50C print speed. Yes. Right, so you could buy your DD1 or your FD1 disk drives if you could afford it. I didn't have one back in the day. Obviously you had to buy the DD1 and the FD1 for the FD1 to work, and I think that cost about £200. So let's get on to the more entertaining stuff now. As it says, entertainment software. Harrier Attack. Now this is where all the games are. Obviously I had this back in the day because it came free with the Amstrad CPC 464. Excellent game. I think it was one of the first games I ever loaded up. Jamming. Never played that, never owned it. Pipeline, another game never owned. Gems of Stardust, never owned that. Star Commando, I owned that. Back in the day, I only ordered one ever game. Excuse me. I only ordered. Excuse me. I only ever ordered one ever game of this catalogue, and I think it only cost $7.90. It cost, well, I say only it cost $7.99. It cost $7.99. It was rubbish, but I think it was a year after. So, I think it was Boots, and Boots were doing like a gift pack. It was 4 Amsoft titles in a box, and I bought a few of these because they're going quite cheap, and Star Commando was on one of them. So we'll be going through and I'll be telling you what games I did on this catalogue. Star Commando was one of them. It was a sort of like a space simulator, shoot 'em up sort of game. A little bit dodgy, but it was okay, I guess. I have done a review on it. Roland in the Caves. Now this did come through with the Amstrad CPC 464. Yes, that was a good little game. Roland Goes Digging was another one on that 4 gift pack. I had this back in the day. I think it was the only Roland game that I had back in the day. Obviously I had Roland in the Caves and Roland on the Ropes because they came through the Amstrad CPC. But outside that bundle, Roland Goes Digging was the only other Roland game I did own back in the day, and I have reviewed all 3 of them. Oh Mummy, a classic, came through the Amstrad CPC 464. Good little game. I've done a review on that. Atom Smasher, I had that back in the day, come on gift pack where you have to. It's a weird little game. I didn't really like it that much. Done a review on that. Admiral Graf Spree, never had that. Master Chess, well, we all know what that is. Never had that. Qubit, never had that. Hexanagrams, yes, that come through the Amstrad CPC 464. Spannerman, I had that back in the day. Didn't really like it that much. Done a review on that. Alien Breaking, never played that. Which is a shame. Looks pretty good, so I might have to do a review on that sometime. Laser Walk, yes, that was one I did have back in the day. It was a good little game actually. On, as I said, on one of the 4 gift packs by Amsoft. Reviewed that. Good game. Haunted Edges, not played that. Amsgolf, yes, I did have that back in the day. On the one of the 4 gift packs. As I say, I can't remember how many of these gift packs I bought, and I can't remember what games were on these gift packs, but I just remember having them back in the day. All in the original boxes. Yeah, it wasn't a great golf game, but I didn't mind it back in the day. Reviewed that. Snooker, I haven't played that, never had that. Hunchback, I have done a review on it, but I've never had it back in the day. Same with Flight Simulator, never ever played that. What's this? Manic Miner. I did have Manic Miner back in the day, but it was on the Software Projects label, not on the Amsoft title on the label. Sorry, never had it. Classic game. Quackerjack, never played that. Roland in Time, I have done a review on it, but I never had it back in the day. The Galactic Plague, yes, came through with the Amstrad CPC 464. Classic Adventure, never played that. Looks like a text adventure game. As we come to probably the worst game on the Amstrad CPC 464, or one of the worst games on the Amstrad CPC 464. It did come through the Amstrad. and that's Bridget. Couldn't stand it. Splat, had that back in the day. I liked it, very good game. Done a review on that. New release, Stop Press, Trash Man. Never played that. Roland on the Run, never had that, but I have done a review on it. Absolutely rubbish. Never had that. As I say, I've never had any other Roland game back in the day, but I have played it and done a review on it. I think it was alright, nothing great. Astro Attack, never played that. Space Hawks, had that back in the day. Good game actually, I like that. Done a review on that. Classic Racing, never played, never had it. Fruit Machine, classic. Came through with the Amstrad CPC 464. Reviewed it. Excuse me. 3D Stunt Rider, never had that back in the day, but I have done a review on it. Oh hang on, what's this? Detective, so I'm only presuming that's like a Cluedo. No, is it Cluedo? Yeah, sort of Cluedo game on the computer. Never played it. Had Stock Market back in the day. Good game, very good game, very addictive game. I've also done a review on that. American Football, had this back in the day. Rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Didn't like it, not interested in American football. I think it's a stupid sport, but that's just my opinion anyway. Reviewed that. Centacle, never played that. Electro Freddy, yes, that was one I had back in the day. Absolutely brilliant game, really enjoyed it. Very fun to play. Reviewed it. Punchy, I think I've reviewed that, but I never had that back in the day. Codename Matt, absolutely brilliant game, like a 3D, well, say 3D, sort of like a space adventure type game. Very good, really enjoyed it, and I have reviewed it. Hunter Killer was another one I had back in the day, a submarine simulation on your Amstrad CPC. Hard, very hard, but you know, it's one I couldn't really get into it that much. I really thought it was too difficult for me, but I've reviewed it. Right, Sultan's Maze, came through with the Amstrad CPC 464. Yeah, it was alright. It came through the Amstrad, enough said. 3D Invaders was another one I had back in the day. A 3D like Space Invader type game. Didn't really like it. I have reviewed it. Crazy Golf, never played that one. Grand Prix Driver, now that was the first game I ever brought on this catalogue. I think it cost $7.99. By the looks of it, all you get is a screenshot. You think, okay, that looks okay, fair enough. It looks okay back in 1985 when I got it. It was my first racing game. I've always liked racing games. When I played Pole Position in the arcade for the first time. So I really wanted a racing game for my Amstrad CPC 464. So I can't remember how we ordered it now. I don't know, but I remember ordering it, taking about a couple of weeks to get here. Back in the day, back in the 1980s, we didn't have internet, so it was nothing to do with ordering it online because we couldn't. Yeah, very worst racing game I've ever played. And yeah, Britannia Software producing some rubbish. Home Runner, well, that came on the welcome tape as a demo, and as you can see on the cover, you'd think it was more of an Olympics type game. You know, he's running, doing 1500 meters or something like that. I don't know. He's running. You can see everything in the background, but when you look at the game, it's totally different. It's like this main sprite was like a Manic Miner rip-off, and you're running away from spiders. Well, you don't see any spiders there, do you, in the main cover? They're a rubbish game, absolutely rubbish game. I've reviewed it. Word Hang, so that came on the welcome tape as a playable demo. Also reviewed the full game. Never had it back in the day. Blagger, yes, I had that back in the day. Rubbish game. Reviewed that. What's this? Mr. Wrong Loopy Laundry. Never heard of it. Never played it. Well, I say I never heard of it. I probably one on. Don't give you a box art. That's probably why. Mutant Monty. Never played that one either. So now we're getting on to the educational software by Bourne's Educational Software. Never had none of these, hardly. Never had Worldwise, Rat Malley. Had Animal, Vegetable, Mineral, because it came through the Amstrad CPC 464. Happy Writing, didn't have that. Happy Letters, didn't have that. Didn't have Happy Numbers. Had Time Man 1, because it came through the Amstrad CPC 464. And also played, didn't have it back in the day. I've reviewed both of them. But never had Time Man 2 back in the day. So that's it. Never had none of this stuff. All this you can advanced programming and all this stuff. Never had Star Wars. Never had this. Decision Maker, Entrepreneur, Home Budget, Amstrad Basic, Easy Ams Word. I had, because that came through with the Amstrad CPC 464. But never had none of this, none of that, none of that, none of that, none of that. Pascal, Amsoft Pascal, none of that. Typing Tutor, none of that. Obviously didn't have the DDI one, didn't have the printer, the DMP one. And that's it, and I never even joined the Amsoft Club. Or did I? I can't remember. Is that how I got my game? I honestly can't remember how I went to order that game. I don't know. There was you had to send off an additional piece of paper or what? I do not know. Division, blah blah blah. So yeah, so that was a step back in time, taking a look at the catalogue. Hope that brought back some memories. It did with me, you know, pointing out some of the games that I had. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.